Coca-Cola 600. The Coca-Cola 600, originally the World 600, is an annual 600-mile 970 km NASCAR Cup Series points race held at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina on a Sunday during Memorial Day weekend. The first race, held in 1960, was also the first one held at the new Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is the longest race on NASCAR's schedule at 600 miles 970 km. It is unique for having track conditions that change throughout the race. It starts around 6:20 p.m. and the track is bathed in sunlight for the first third of the race. The second third happens at dusk, and the final third under the lights. The race is run later on the same day as the Indianapolis 500 of IndyCar, with several drivers having performed double duty, competing in both races. Brad Keselowski is the defending champion of the Coca-Cola 600. Track origin. In the spring of 1959, Curtis Turner returned to Charlotte, North Carolina, after viewing Bill France Sr.'s Daytona International Speedway and had an idea of building a racetrack in the surrounding area. Turner thought he could borrow enough money to build a $750,000 track with 45,000 permanent seats on his property in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. Afterward, he learned that a group led by Bruton Smith had a similar idea to build a track near Pineville. Smith and Turner formed an alliance to build the track, and they signed a contract with NASCAR to run a 600-mile event on Memorial Day. Once the construction crew broke ground, they found a layer of granite under the topsoil, making the construction costs rise. The area for the first turn alone used $70,000 worth of dynamite, ballooning Turner's $750,000 construction plan to nearly $2 million. In the spring of 1960, Turner begged for a 6-week postponement of the race after a snowstorm delayed the concrete pouring. With 2 weeks remaining until the inaugural race, the paving subcontractor threatened to quit the job due to lack of payment. To keep him there, Turner and one of his friends threatened the subcontractor with a shotgun and a revolver to ensure the track's backstretch would be completed. The first event at the newly completed Charlotte Motor Speedway was held on June 19, 1960. History. The event began as an attempt by NASCAR to stage a Memorial Day weekend event to compete with the open-wheel Indianapolis 500. It was not until 1974, however, that both races competed head-to-head on the same day, due to Indianapolis' policy of not racing on Sundays prior to that. Before 1974, the two races were held on different days of the week, and on a few occasions, some drivers drove in both. They continued even after the Coca-Cola 600 was moved to the same day, albeit to a lesser degree. The first World 600 was held on June 16 due to construction delays of the completion of Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 2009 race, postponed by rain from its original May 24 date, was the first race to occur on Memorial Day itself. After the installation of lights in 1992, fans asked circuit management to start the race later in the day, because of the notorious North Carolina heat and humidity. They wanted to follow the Winston's popularity the previous week and switch the race to a nighttime finish to create cooler temperatures for spectators. The start time was moved back several times throughout the 1990s and finally settled at 5:30 p.m. in 2001 to attempt to have the race finished by 10 p.m. ET. in time for local news on Fox affiliates. With the new starting time came new challenges. Not only do race teams have to deal with the blistering Carolina heat, but the considerable temperature drop at night affects track conditions. The nighttime portion of the race is lit with a system that uses parabolic reflectors so that dangerous glare that would otherwise be in the driver's eyes is minimized. The move of the race to the early evening made it possible for drivers to do double duty, run the Indianapolis 500, then immediately fly from Indianapolis to Charlotte and participate in the Coca-Cola 600. Experts disagreed over whether, for health and safety reasons, anyone should be allowed to race 1,100 miles in one day, but no regulation has been set by any governing body to prevent it. From 2005 to 2010, the issue became moot when the state of Indiana finally decided to implement daylight saving time. This resulted in only an approximately 1-hour interval between the end of the Indianapolis 500 and the start of the Coca-Cola 600. The Indianapolis 500 start time was moved back to noon Eastern in 2011, but only one attempt by Kurt Busch in 2014 has been made since then. Until the Furco lawsuit settlement took effect, the race was considered the third leg of the Grand Slam and was once part of the Winston Million. It is considered one of the top 5 annual NASCAR races. Beginning in 2017, NASCAR adopted the stage racing format, dividing each of its top 3 divisions races into 3 stages. Originally, the 600 was going to have stages 1 and 2 be 115 laps in length, with the third and final stage encompassing the remaining 170 laps. Just a few weeks before the race, the stage format for the race was changed with the addition of a 4th stage, and the race is divided into 4 uniform stages of 100 laps each. This makes it the only race on the schedule with 4 stages instead of 3. If the weather interferes, NASCAR's rule that a race becomes official after the conclusion of the 2nd stage still applies. It also makes the Coca-Cola 600 the highest scoring race in terms of points a driver can collect. Usually, if a driver sweeps all the stages and passes inspection, they score 60 points, 44 winning, and 10 for the first 2 stages, but with 4 stages the maximum is 70, which Kyle Busch accomplished in 2018. Before the race, the American national anthem was preceded by the playing of Amazing Grace by the Charlotte Fire Department pipe band and taps. Name changes. From 1960 to 1984, the race was known as the World 600. In 1985, the race's name was changed to Coca-Cola World 600. In 1986, the name was shortened to the Coca-Cola 600 or Coke 600, which it was referred to at the time. The name changed again in 2002 to the Coca-Cola Racing Family 600, referring to the Coca-Cola family of drivers who are sponsored by Coca-Cola. In 2003, the name returned to the Coca-Cola 600. Individual race details. 1960. In the inaugural World 600 in 1960, Don Odell's Pontiac smashed the driver's door of Lenny Page's Chevy. Lenny Page was lucky to even survive the impact due to the mediocre safety systems of the time and was near death afterward, but reporter Chris Economaki rushed to the scene and applied CPR until safety crews arrived. He was later credited with saving Lenny's life. 1961. The race saw numerous crashes, including a very bad collision involving Reds Cagle, who lost a leg when his Ford smashed through the guardrail in Turn 3. 1964. Fireball Roberts suffered a hard crash in this race, resulting in an inferno. Roberts was severely burned and would die of complications on July 2 of that year. 1974. The race was shortened to 540 miles because of the nation's short-lived fuel crisis, which was won by David Pearson over Richard Petty. The lead changed 37 times between Pearson, Petty, Cal Yarborough, Buddy Baker, and Donnie Allison, the most lead changes in the event's history to that point. 1976. Bruton Smith resumed full control of the speedway with the resignation of former track president Richard Howard. In a move to boost promotion of the race, Janet Guthrie was entered in a car wrenched by Ralph Moody. Pearson edged Petty again after a cut tire dropped Yarborough off the lead lap. 1977, two racing legends win races on the same day. Richard Petty wins his second World 600 while A.J. Foyt was winning his fourth at Indy. 1978, Darrell Waltrip won the first of his record 5 600s in 1978 in a race-long six-car shootout. On the final lap, Benny Parsons and David Pearson crashed. The lead changed 43 times, the most competitive 600 to that point of its history. 1979, the race saw the most lead changes, 54 in the race's history. Darrell Waltrip took the win over Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. 1980, the race lasted 7 hours due to 14 caution flags and 2 lengthy red flags for rain. Multiple tire failures helped lead to an epidemic of wrecks. At lap 275, Dale Earnhardt blew a tire and his spin caught up Bobby Allison, Cal Yarborough, and David Pearson. Waltrip had the lead, but in the final 20 laps was challenged by Benny Parsons. The two battled with the lead changing some 7 times before Parsons edged Waltrip by a car length. 1982, Neil Bonnet won his first World 600 driving the famous No. 21 Wood Brothers Ford. 1983, Neil Bonnet won his second World 600 driving for the No. 75 Ramach Hodgdon Chevrolet. 1985, considerable pre-race hype surrounded the race as Bill Elliott entered with a chance to win $1 million cash bonus for a small slam of the sport's 4 majors. Elliott won the pole position and led 81 laps but faded to 18th at the finish. Darrell Waltrip took the victory, a key victory en route to the championship. Waltrip, who won the inaugural All-Star race a day earlier, nearly missed the race after a car/engine swap controversy with NASCAR Director of Competition Dick Beattie. Elliott went on to win the Winston Million later in the season at Darlington, but never won the 600 in his career. 1988, in the middle of a tire war between the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company and Hoosier Racing Tire, now part of Continental AG, multiple tire failures marred the previous week's All-Star race, all involving Goodyear. Goodyear withdrew the tires originally designated for the 600 and substituted a harder compound. Only Dave Marcis stayed with the harder Goodyear tires for the 600. But during the 600, Hoosier tire failures were rampant. Darrell Waltrip survived and edged Rusty Wallace for the win, becoming the first 4-time winner of the race. 1989, Darrell Waltrip becomes the only driver to win the event for a record 5th time. 1978, 1979, 1985, 1988, 1989. After also winning the season-opening Daytona 500, Waltrip now had won 2 of the sport's 4 majors, setting himself up for the $1 million bonus for a small slam at Darlington. He would not be successful. Waltrip had not won the final major, Darlington, and never took the checkered flag to win the Southern 500. His final career win, at that race in 1992, took place when he took the lead during pit stops on lap 293, and the race was suspended by a red flag after 298 laps for rain, after which it was never completed. 1992, the race saw a controversial finish. Dale Earnhardt emerged from late green flag pit stops with the lead after trailing by some 3 seconds entering the pits. There were complaints from several teams, notably Morgan McClure Motorsports, whose driver Ernie Irvan finished second, that Earnhardt had broken NASCAR's mandated pit road speed limit. This race, the last Coca-Cola 600 to be run entirely in daylight, marked the only victory for Earnhardt in 1992. 1993, Earnhardt was plagued by controversy again by first getting busted for speeding on pit road, then has penalized a lap for aggressive driving after spinning out the lapped car of Greg Sachs. On a pit stop, he was penalized for not having all 5 lug nuts tightened when in fact all 5 were tight. NASCAR threw the caution after the debacle, but Earnhardt made up the 2 laps. He was down to take the lead late in the race on his way to his 3rd Coca-Cola 600 win. This was also the first Coca-Cola 600 to start late in the day and end under the lights, which has been done since 1994. Second-year driver Jeff Gordon won the first race of his career. His team gambled on the final pit stop, taking on only 2 tires, giving him a better track position. 1995. The race was a dramatic affair as the lead changed 32 times, the most since 1988, and the battle for the lead became a spirited multi-lap affair between Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Sterling Marlin. Labonte punted Earnhardt out of the lead late in the race and sweated out late green flag stops for fuel to take the win, his first in Winston Cup. 2000. Talk this year was of Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to be the first rookie to win the race, winning the pole and dominating all of the phases of the race. However, Matt Kenseth became the first rookie to win the race after holding off Bobby Labonte over the final laps. It was Kenseth's first career win. 2001. While Jeff Burton won the race, Tony Stewart stunned the racing world by successfully pulling off the full distances of the Memorial Day Double. 2005. During this race, a new record for the most cautions of any NASCAR Cup Series race was set at 22 cautions. In addition, there was a red flag late in the race because of debris. On the last lap, Jimmy Johnson slid past Bobby Labonte in turn 4, claiming the checkered flag by inches. In doing so, he became the first driver to win 3 consecutive Coca-Cola 600s. He would finish a distant second to Casey Kahn the following year. 2007. In one of NASCAR's biggest upsets, Casey Mears won. Tony Stewart led with 10 laps remaining, hoping to win his first Coca-Cola 600. Denny Hamlin led with 7 laps remaining until he also ran out of fuel. Mears, driving for Hendrick Motorsports in the No. 25, took the lead for 6 laps remaining to win, running out of fuel just after crossing the finish line. The entire podium consisted of J.J. Yeley second and Kyle Petty third. It was the final podium result for all 3 drivers. Reed Sorensen fourth and Brian Vickers fifth completed the top 5. 2009. Although nicknamed the 24 Hours of Charlotte, it was the shortest run of the race in its history. The race was delayed from Sunday to Monday due to a rainstorm, and the following day, more rain forced the race to end at only 227 laps, although it took a 6.5-hour marathon to reach that point, due to frequent interruptions by competition cautions and 3 red flags, including a 2-hour period under the red flag, which ended the race and declared David Uteman the winner, one of few drivers who opted not to pit under the final caution. Uteman was the second surprise first-time winner in 2009 after Brad Keselowski's win at Talladega the month before. 2011. The 2011 running, at 603 miles, was the longest distance in NASCAR history at the time. Dale Earnhardt Jr., trying to break a long winless drought, ran out of gas coming off of turn 4, and Kevin Harvick scored his 3rd win of 2011. 2013. The 2013 running was red-flagged 126 laps in, when a cable that supported a Skycam used by Fox Sports over the front stretch of the racetrack Several spectators were injured as a result of the failure, and several race cars were damaged. The race restarted but was red flagged again on lap 325 for a large wreck entering turn 1. Kevin Harvick won the race for the second time when he took 2 tires on the final caution and passed Casey Kahn, who did not pit. 2014, Jimmie Johnson won his 4th Coca-Cola 600 and first since 2005. During the race, the world's biggest photo was captured. The 348 gigapixel image captured during the race is 70,000 times bigger than a standard self-portrait and allows each and every one of the more than 100,000 fans in the stands who attended the event to zoom in on the 360-degree image and find themselves. 2015, Carl Edwards won his first Coca-Cola 600 and first while driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. 2016, Martin Truex Jr. started on the pole and led an event record 392 of 400 laps and a series record 588 600 miles en route to his first win at the Coca-Cola 600. Additionally, the race was the fastest-ran Coca-Cola 600 in history at an average speed of 160.655, clocking in at 3 hours, 44 minutes, and 5 seconds. 2017, first race to run in 4 stages rather than 3. Austin Dillon, running on fumes, held off Kyle Busch to score his first career Cup win. The race also marked the return of the #3 to victory lane for the first time since Dale Earnhardt scored his final career victory at Talladega in 2000. Just before halfway, a rainstorm happened to delay the race for an hour and 30 minutes. With the delay, the race finished at 12:30 MEDT on Memorial Day Monday. Danica Patrick leads 7 laps, becoming the first woman to lead the Coca-Cola 600. 2018, Kyle Busch dominated the race by sweeping all the stages and leading 377 of the 400 laps to score his first career win at Charlotte, making him the first driver to win a race at every racetrack in the Cup Series that he has competed at, and every track that is on the current schedule. 2019, 21-year-old William Byron was the youngest driver ever to take pole position for the Coca-Cola 600. With 16 caution flags and an elapsed time of 4 hours and 50 minutes. 2020, with the coronavirus outbreak affecting all sports across America, NASCAR continued after a 2-month absence, but it also prohibited fans in the stands. Chase Elliott looked like he was going to win the event until his teammate William Byron spun, bringing out the caution with just 2 laps to go. Elliott decided to pit with others while Brad Keselowski stayed out, inheriting the lead for a green-white checkered finish. Elliott charged from 11th to 3rd, with Keselowski giving Roger Penske his second 600 win over Jimmie Johnson on a day in which the Indianapolis 500 was postponed due to the pandemic. In post-race tech, Johnson's car violated rear-end alignments, disqualifying him from second to dead last 40th and lifting Elliott to second. Rain delayed the event by an hour and 40 minutes, just 50 laps in, with the checkered flag waving just past midnight on Memorial Day. The race ending in overtime broke the record for the longest NASCAR race run, set in 2011. Keselowski crossed the start/finish line after completing 405 laps/607.5 miles, breaking the 2011 record of 402 laps/603 miles. First-time winners. The Coca-Cola 600 has been the site of many drivers' first wins, including David Uteman, Casey Mears, and future champions David Pearson 1961, Jeff Gordon 1994, Bobby Labonte 1995, and Matt Kenseth 2000. The most recent driver to have the 600 as his first win was Austin Dillon, who won in 2017. Past winners. Multiple winners drivers. Multiple winners teams. Manufacturer wins. World 600 qualifier. Alsco Uniforms 500. Due to schedule changes resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, Charlotte Motor Speedway hosted an additional 500-kilometer race called the Alsco Uniforms 500 on the Wednesday following the Coca-Cola 600. It was run as a replacement for the Toyota/Save Mark 350 at Sonoma Raceway after the track announced that NASCAR had canceled its events at the road course due to the pandemic. Asterisk 2020. The race was moved from Wednesday to Thursday because of rain.